hope some of what just happened during the commercial makes it into this conversation. In an effort to make the discussion about sexual consent more fun, the University of Southern California student government has approved a consent carnival. Woohoo! Nothing says sexual responsibility like clowns and red noses. According campus reform and an event flyer, participants will get to test their knowledge of consent at kissing booths and with games like Jeopardy and darts. Pete?
Of course you got. I have no idea what to think. This is, of course, ridiculous. They're trying to find ways to make it's obviously consent is a serious issue, right? You don't want the people not consenting, but turning it into a carnival, I guess they start a conversation, but it only looks absurd.
So the opposite of consent, the way I understand it, is rape.
Of course.
It couldn't be more serious.
Yeah.
How did we get to a carnival?
But isn't this a failure in parenting, that you have all these college students that don't know what consent means in their dating relationships?
Sad.
And by the way, they say it's student-led, but these are fees that are going to student groups that are funding not just this, they're funding, if you read the article, they're funding drag shows, they're funding coming out parties, second chance proms, and then we have all these students complaining about, you know, the rising costs of schools, and they're taking out loans for this junk. It really is very frustrating for me as a parent, and I think maybe as parents we need to be a little more invested in where our kids are going to school and where our money is being spent.
So I think the counter argument there is that a lot of parents don't know how to discuss this with their kids, and they don't discuss this with their kids.
I don't know.
So is there help that is needed for those kids that don't understand consent and non-consent? A carnival doesn't exactly sound like the best idea here to talk about such a serious subject, but this is student-led and it is student-paid for, as you point out. There could be worse things spent with student money. Well,
that's for sure.
I'm saying there's something going on campuses right now that clearly they're seeing the need to discuss.
But that's the point. Something this serious shouldn't probably be student-led.
Andrea?
You know, this issue is just not black and white. Our own Martha McCallum did a very impressive, incredible report on rape on college campuses.
Yes.
And how a lot of these colleges have set up separate courts. They're trying these boys. They're almost guilty until proven innocent. That is one problem. That is one aspect. There's law firms set up now uniquely to do this, to defend these boys on campuses. On the other hand, I gotta say, these feminists have a point. Gray rape is very real. It's a real issue, and it should be heard, and it should be taken very, very seriously. And it's not even the parents that have failed, it's the culture that has failed.
I agree with you.
It is a crisis among men and women, and they're not getting the memo that no means no. There is an area of grayness. Men are expecting it. Women are readily giving up sex. It's messy. Alcohol is often involved. And I just don't think, Harris, that I'm equipped in a soundbite to break this issue down, because it's serious and it's complex, and it is a huge problem.
And it is the reason why I started with that very harsh sentence. As I'm raising daughters, I know you have nearly 8 children, another one on the way. And Pete, you're a dad as well. You don't have to be a parent to get it, but we're forced to deal with, kind of in the back of our minds, how we teach our kids about consent. You talk about the gray area that exists, but as a parent, you hope it is black and white.
That's right. You want to instill in your boys that, hey, you're going to get this if that ever even remotely comes to that.
But do you
and that's why I look sideways at the whole consent carnival thing, because you don't really know what to think about it. It's such a serious topic, yet it's a carnival. It's
like, they have a dunk booth.
I mean, do they have to go there for this age group, though?
The problem isn't getting people like dunking and hooking up, and that's not the problem. No, and a dunk booth isn't going to solve it.
But I don't know that the kids that don't understand the difference are going to be the ones to attend a carnival like this, right?
That's true.
And for that reason, they may go, but they may not be interested in the subject matter whatsoever.
Anyone who's been a victim or who's been accused of this is definitely not showing up at some absurd, ridiculous carnival.
And you're right, it's cultural, and it has a lot to do with social media, and it has a lot to do with the waning influence we have as parents over our kids, because they're in a different universe when it comes to social media.
I'm going to take a page out of your book, because you and I have talked about this sort of thing. You got to talk with your kids about everything. And if you feel uncomfortable, imagine how they feel. Wouldn't you rather it come from you?
Yeah.
All right, a growing number of young dads, not moms, are finding it tough to balance work and family. I wonder if they'll get the questions we do. Why they say it's hard to have it all.